Hello there, welcome to 8-4. We're going to be talking about, again, trinomials, but the difference is now we're going to have a coefficient in front of our x squared. That's something that we didn't have in 8-3 when we were factoring. Now this complicates things a little bit. Now if you'll notice, now instead of just focusing on, okay, what factors add up to 10, if you look at our trinomial here, we also have to have factors that add up to, or that multiply, not add, sorry, multiply to 6, and the combination of the green and the red have to add up to my middle term, which in this case is 19. So we have to check the factors of A, the factors of C. And the sum of the products of the outer and the inner has to be B. Okay? So you got products here has to equal A, products here have to equal C, and then the combination of the inner and the outer products have to equal B. Now the way that your book teaches this is kind of a trial and error sort of system, where we would list the factors of A and we would list the factors of C, and then we try to figure out what combinations work. Now that gets us there, but honestly it's kind of confusing, and I learned a trick a couple of years ago that makes this process really easy, and so I'm going to teach you that trick, and hopefully it will make sense to you. So if I take this trinomial here, the first step of the trick, okay, is first of all to make sure that there's no GCF here, because if there is, the trick doesn't work. So I need to, if there is one, I have to factor it out first before I can use this method here. We won't call it a trick, we'll call it a method. So there's no GCF, so the first step is to take and multiply A times C. Okay, so if I do that, 2 times 21, I'm going to get 42. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I want to come up with factors of 42 that are going to equal 17. Well, when I think of 42, the first thing I think of is 6 times 7. But 6 times 7 is 13, so that doesn't work. So I need to think of some other factors. Another factor is 14 and 3. Well, you can see that that does add up to 17. Okay, so that's the combination we want. Now the next thing that we do, okay, so first thing, A times C, then I got my little table. Now once I find my factors, okay, what I'm going to do is divide those factors by A. Okay, so put this over 2, this over 2. Okay, now once I do that, I have to reduce if I can. So 14 over 2 can be reduced to 7 over 1. Now 3 over 2 can't be reduced, so I'll just leave that as it is. Alright, now what I have here, okay, the bottom numbers, my denominators, are the ones with the x's. So in my first binomial I would have x plus 7. In my second binomial I would have 2x plus 3. And that's the factored form of this trinomial. Okay? And if we want to check it, 2x times x is 2x squared. Outer 3x, inner 14x, that's going to give me 17x. And last is 21. So this here, this method just helps us to figure out which combination is going to get us that middle term a little bit faster than trial and error ways will. Okay? So let's do this again. And I'm going to throw some in there with some different signs just so you can kind of be aware of how that affects things. So again, A times C, 3 times 16, 48. Now notice here that I need factors of 48 that add up to negative 16. Alright? They have to both be negative because I need a positive 48. So negative 6, negative 8 is the first one I think of. But that gives me negative 14, so that doesn't work. How about negative 4, negative 12? That works, right? Okay, so then, next step, remember, put them both over A. Now I gotta reduce if I can. This one can be reduced to negative 4 over 1. Then I put my x's in. So my factors are 3x minus 4 and 1x minus 4. Alright. Again, I can check it real quick. 3x times x, 3x squared, minus 4x minus 12x, that's going to be minus 16x, plus 16. There's another one here. A times c. 6 times 5 is 30. That's a 3. 30. Okay, I need factors of 30 that add up to 17. Well, I got 3 and 10. That doesn't work. 5 and 6. That doesn't work. How about 15 and 2? Yep, that works. So I put those both over A. Again, I gotta reduce if I can. So 15 over 6, I can take a 3 out. I get 5 over 2. I can take a 2 out of here. I get 1 over 3. I put my x's in. So my binomial, 2x plus 5, 3x plus 1. Check it. 6x squared, 15x, 2x, 5. That works. One more here with a subtraction sign. So I'm due a times c, 9 times 4, 36. Now I need factors of 36 that add up to negative 15. So they're going to have to both be negative because it has to be a positive 36. So negative 12, negative 3 I think is what's going to work. So if I put that over A, and again reduce, so I take a 3 out, that's negative 4 over 3. Take a 3 out, I get negative 1 over 3. So put my x's in. So my binomials would be 3x minus 4 and 3x minus 1. Okay? Now the next question is, okay, what happens when c is negative? And honestly, nothing really changes that much. I still do a times c, so I get negative 12. But now I'm going to have positive and negative factors. So I need positive and negative, okay, two numbers that multiply to negative 12 but add up to positive 11. Okay, well, so let's say negative 4 and 3. That doesn't work. That's negative 1. What about negative 12 and 1? Well, that'll get me negative 11, but that's not really what I want. I want positive 11, so how about we go positive 12 and negative 1? That should work. So let's put those over A. Reduce if we can. And then put my x's in. So my binomial would be x plus 4 and 3x minus 1. Okay, so the difference here is now we're going to have different signs in our binomial. Let's look at another one here. Okay, I got to do a times c, so 2 times negative 18, that's negative 36. Okay, factors of negative 36 that add up to positive 9. Let's go 12 and negative 3. That'll work. Put them over A. 12 over 2 because 6 over 1. Can't reduce this one, so I put my x's in. So I got x plus 6 and 2x minus 3. Alright, I hope you're kind of catching on to how this method works here. 4 times negative 4, a times c, that's negative 16. So I need factors of negative 16 that add up to negative 15. So negative 4, 4. Nope. Negative 8, 2. Nope. How about negative 16, positive 1? That should get me negative 15. So let's put those over a. Again, reduce if I can. And put my x's in. So my two binomials would be x minus 4 and 4x plus 1. Okay? Now, one last thing we need to talk about is if we have a negative sign in front. So when the leading coefficient is negative, factor out negative 1 from each term before we use other factoring methods. So in this case, I'm going to take a negative 1 out. So that's going to give me 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Okay, now I can use my method with what's in the parentheses here. So 2 times 3 is 6. What factors of 6 add up to 5? 2 and 3. If I put those over a, 2 over 2 is 1 over 1. 3 over 2 I can't reduce. Put my x's in. So then I got my negative 1 out front. I got x plus 1, and then I got 2x plus 3. Okay, so if my leading coefficient is negative, I just factor negative 1 out first, and then that stays out front. So that's how we factor trinomials when we have a number in front of the x squared. Alright, if you have any questions tomorrow, let me know.